Welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Eric, and I'm glad you decided to join me on this quest to learn more about metal, magic, and lore. I'm going to discuss character skills, which is essentially what makes MML so unique and adaptable to play in so many different campaigns and fandoms. These skills define who your character is. Instead of having a class, you have a sandbox of skills. The game comes with a list of skills, but you don't have to limit yourself to those. Depending on the campaign, you can pick any skill you and the game master agree upon. You can be as creative as you want, especially if you're venturing outside the classical fantasy realm. Skills start at novice from 1 to 9% chance of success to heroic at 60 to 90%. Now these skills can be modified by various traits such as race, primary attributes, synergy with other skills, and possibly even an item, depending on the campaign. During play, you'll perform a skill check when attempting to perform a particular action. You'll total your percentages and either add or subtract task and situational modifiers. For example, using the pickpocket skill and the task was lifting a coin, it would be much easier to steal from a drunk individual than a gypsy, or at least that task would be if I was the game master. Furthermore, it would be a more challenging task to steal at midday in the middle of town square versus in the dark corner of the tavern. It's up to the GM to paint the environment so the players understand their task and the potential challenges they face. For the situational modifier, it's usually involved with combat and deals with injuries and fatigue. We'll deal with that later. Usually, I combine those two factors into one number I give the players to add or subtract from their chances of success, and call it the situational modifier. So if you hear me call the task a situation, it's because I lump them together in general. Let's go through a scenario where a player is attempting to pickpocket a drunk soldier at the end of the bar. And we're going to say the player has a total chance of success with all his personal factors adding up to 50%. If the soldier was a young recruit deep in his cups, on his first leave and is away from his hometown, I would say it would be pretty easy, maybe even simple, which would add 55 to 75% to his chances. The player is more than likely going to be successful. The only thing to stop him would be a critical failure. On the other hand, if a soldier is a battle-hardened veteran who is back home drinking at his or her family bar, trying to forget the horrors of war, I would say it's an arduous task and it's up to you and your skills alone to pass. The third option is that the soldier is really a gypsy in disguise, pretending to be drunk in an attempt to lure easy marks to themselves. I would give the task an impossible rating, which would give negative 40% to success, resulting in total chance for the player at 10%. At this point, the player rolls two 10-sided dice, and unlike normal RPGs, they want the lowest number possible. This is where MML is different from a lot of other games. Typically, you want high numbers. Not in MML. You want to be within or under your skills to be successful. So, in the third situation, with a 10% chance of success, the player must roll a 10 or less to steal the coin. A roll of 1 is always a critical success, and a roll of 0, 0, 0 is considered 100 and is a critical failure. It's a fine line between critical success and failure. Now, the amount of skills you have is dependent on the campaign type. Different campaign styles give you different quantities of skills, with Spartan giving you the least and Heroic the most. If this is your first campaign, I would suggest the Adventurer is a place to start. It's fairly balanced and allows players to specialize to a small degree, with the added professional skill. One game master I played with started every campaign Elder Scrolls style. You have Spartan skills and start in prison, except you have no royal decree granting you freedom. You and your fellow players must devise a way to escape. I hope you learned from this brief explanation of skills in MML, and I look forward to explaining more about campaigns and character creation in the next few videos. Until then, let's shut it down.